I tell you what, let's bring Lou on here real quick. If just you can throw his microphone on and then throw him on the screen. He heard me talking about the Bengals and stuff and everything going into this weekend. You said something there about it when I was talking about Joe Flacco and what I expect from him there, Lou. What were you saying?
Well, actually, I thought your take was interesting and is interesting. The line moved not at all.
Not at all. Okay,
No, we don't recognize Flacco as some kind of a savior because of, and you really hit the salient points. He's not mobile, but to me, if I'm picking a quarterback for my team, I mean, I'm cheating because all I got to do is whatever Jim Harbaugh's doing. Okay, but I'm taking Herbert because of this.
Yeah.
The NFL quarterback, this must be their muscle. I don't care how they can run and everything else. Now you put the fact that this kid's got a cannon, so that's a different subject now.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking in terms of Joe Flacco. Like I said, they got the Packers this weekend. I'm not saying they're going to go in and beat the Packers. I'm just saying because everybody's saying, well, if Joe Burrow couldn't escape this offensive line, how's Joe Flacco going to do it? Two totally different quarterbacks is my point. And I'm not saying Joe Flacco's not going to get hit and stuff to that effect. But old man Flacco knows how to – he played with the Baltimore Ravens line that wasn't very good when he won a Super Bowl one year. Like, they weren't top of the league, and he got hit a lot and stuff to that. But that was the defensive side, right?
Well, I mean, what I'll say for this is just how I look at it. And Cincinnati's on the road in Pittsburgh, short week Thursday after this.
After this, yeah.
Okay. Right. So this is a tall task for Cincinnati if Burrow's in – at the quarterback.
Yeah, and that's why I want to be clear.
Green Bay's off a bye.
I have no qualm. I'm not saying Cincinnati's going on a run. I'm saying it's not going to be as bad as people think it's going to be for Cincinnati.
I don't know. It's been pretty bad for Cincinnati. I don't know how Flacco, a statue, is going to change it. But again,
he's going to be better than Browning.
I don't know. I'm not ready to give you that. A couple of years ago, Browning came in and did well. We'll see. I mean, I'd rather wait and see, but I find your take very interesting. Right. I am a pro Joe Flacco guy. I know he can play, and if he can help Cincinnati just in the aspect of hope, which is really what I think you're trying to say.
That's exactly what I'm
saying. The hope brings a bunch of superstars on that offense, and sometimes that's all they need. So
I mean, I put it in context with the Cardinals. We've been talking about them. Cardinals moving forward have zero hope. The fan base of the Cardinals have zero hope anything good's going to happen for the rest of the year.
That's a futile approach. What I've heard from Cardinal reporters is that they're using this to band together this week. And
okay, we'll see on Sunday.
Well, that's what
we'll see on Sunday.
I have to listen to it all and judge what I think is worthy.
But
being
the Bengals
judged.
have taken their team who has zero hope, with Joe Burrow going out and just it's going to be a bad season, and to where it goes, in our division with the Ravens struggling, and all that, can we finish second in this division with Jay? They've given hope to their fan base, right? Is basically how I'm putting it here. Is what I'm talking about.
To their fan base.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
But make no mistake about it. Behind closed doors, the team never has, or no NFL team has lost hope. They all have it. That's what they're paid to do. What Steve's talking about is hope. This is all the fan noise around the team,
which Lou doesn't like me doing.
I need you to do it because it's the noise that creates the overreaction that gives me the opportunity. So it's all connected. It's just that sometimes we approach it the same topic from really different positions.
Yeah, no. That's why I'm glad to have you on here because you look at it. And not emotional side.
I try and be clinical about it, which is funny because most people knowing me growing up know that that's the last word you could use to describe me.
Here's my question, and I'm not asking you to handicap anything and stuff like that, but Yahoo came out with a quarterback report card on the season.
Who?
Yahoo did. Yahoo Sports.
A quarterback authority. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. So go ahead now.
Well, you always do that too. But this is interesting to me, right? They have you look at this clinically and you look at it, the lines, and you're like, Joe Flacco did not move the line at all on Cincinnati. All right. So it's not a point from that perspective. But, you look at it here, the NFC West, for instance, obviously, quarterback from Brock Purdy to I just forgot his name, who's filling in for Brock Purdy right now. They give them an
the
A.
young man from
Mac Jones.
Alabama.
Mac Jones.
Yes.
So they give them an A. They give Seattle's quarterback, Sam Darnold, a B. They give Sam Darnold, Sam what's his name with the Rams? Sam Darnold. Anyway, the Rams quarterback. They give him a B
Isn't that
minus.
Jimmy G?
No, he's the backup.
Oh, okay.
Stafford.
Stafford.
Thank you. Holy cow. What is wrong with my mind here? They give them a B minus. Then they give Kyler Murray and the Cardinals quarterback a D from that perspective. It's just like, I mean, it's hard to argue that, to be honest with you, with what we've seen from what we see there. But quarterback plays a lot into kind of what you do as a handicapper side, right? Like you factor in quarterbacks, how they're playing. I know there's other factors you look into it, like DVOA and the defensive side and stuff like that. Are we overhyping quarterbacks is my question to you as a fan base. Is our quarterbacks that instrumental to a team's success as it once was?
I think it's more so now than ever before. Because back when I was coming up, Bart Starr, Len Dawson, Roman Gabriel, I mean, I can go Y.A. Tittle. I'll go even back into they handed the ball off. It was 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And now litigation is such that the NFL, you see it now. You can see, the NFL's involved in professional flag football. Make no mistake about it, you 18-year-olds and 22-year-olds listening out there, that's what your game's going to be. This NFL, as we know it today, is on its way out, and the one I knew is already gone. So as we approach a much more 7-on-7, wide open, less physical kind of a game, you're going to see all the importance placed on rushing the quarterback, covering a receiver, and then getting the ball to the receiver.
Yeah. And they basically, Yahoo put out their grades on the teams, but they put a lot of emphasis on the quarterback position here and how they're playing.
I think you have
like
to.
That.
I don't think they're wrong
so
in that.
Because I was looking at it from the gambling perspective, that's why I asked you that, because lines move. If a quarterback's out, lines move. Generally, if it's a good.
Oh, yes.
If Josh Allen's out this week, that line's sliding.
6.5 points.
Yeah, and stuff. So I think it's still big, and that emphasis, I just think you don't need a great quarterback these days to win. You need a great defense, right, or a good running game to win. So the emphasis on the quarterback for me is kind of a deal.
Oh, I think that it's totally the opposite. I think I think the quarterback's everything. That's why Harbaugh went to California to go coach this kid.
Yeah.
It's everything in today's game as far as I'm concerned, because you have to process. Look at Mayfield. Look at what a great job he's doing. And those that are somewhat struggling or at least inconsistent are the younger kids thrown to the Tigers a little bit early. And it's tough.
Ready.
That's how you can ruin a guy, but some can succeed.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, right, Dan Marino would come up or Troy Aikman would come up and struggle for a year. Peyton Manning struggle for a year and then come out there. Now you're seeing
they
guys,
had offensive lines and world-class coaches that were able to build a team around them immediately.
Now you're seeing guys come out and they struggle for a year and then they just continue to struggle and then you move on from them early and all that stuff. Yeah. It's fascinating to watch how this goes.
You're dead right.
From that perspective.
They give them new offenses to have to learn 3 in 3 years. That's impossible. That's like taking a high-end math course, which I couldn't pass a low-end math course. But it's unbelievably complicated. Anyway, I got nothing but respect for all the quarterbacks.
It's a fascinating, just you're starting to see ESPN has grades out here for, a quarter of the way through the season and stuff. I just found it fascinating on the Yahoo side that they kind of lean towards, more of the offensive side with the quarterbacks than they did anything else from that perspective. And it's kind of surprising. I feel like Bengals a D minus. Mainly because they don't have a quarterback right now.
Who did they rate real high?
Well, obviously the Bills were an A. Patriots, they have Patriots as a B in terms of their first quarter.
From that, just a glimmer, I think that's not far off. That kid looks like he can play.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? Because last year,
Vrabel's like, holy cow, we found a quarterback.
Last year they were like, this kid ain't. Drake May ain't it. And now he's like, coaching matters in the NFL, and I think that's part of the Cardinals'
and a guy
problem.
that I'm not high on at all, I think Stephon Diggs is really helping the young quarterback as well. Diggs is not a guy that I believe is very good long-term for a team, but in the short term, a year and a half, he's lightning in a bottle, and we saw it the other night.
Interesting enough, AFC North, right? That's what I'm saying on this Bengals situation from a fan's perspective. And It'll be interesting to watch from a gambling perspective if they can do it. But I mean, Steelers are a B, Browns C minus, Bengals D minus, Ravens F as well. This was done before the trade yesterday, by the way. Also, that's just 3 out of 4 of those teams don't have a quarterback, and I would argue Steelers necessarily don't have a quarterback. He's doing just enough this year, but Aaron Rodgers isn't one of the best quarterbacks in the league and stuff, and you could just see those rankings.
But I
be
think
down
for
at that
3 or
point.
4 games this year he could be, and they haven't used him yet.
Yes,
And
that's the
when
thing.
are they going to use him? Hopefully when they get to the playoffs, when his experience will come through. I wouldn't underestimate the Steelers. I really wouldn't. And I don't want to underestimate Cleveland, but I'm ready to underestimate Baltimore and Cincinnati.
The interesting side is AFC South, Colts A, Jaguars A minus. I mean, the Colts is everybody's surprise this year, but I told everybody the Jaguars are going to surprise, but I have them winning that division going into the season. I said they're going to surprise everybody.
That's a good call for crying out
Yeah, the
loud.
problem is the Colts are ruining that right now. 'Cause
Well,
I think
they
the
haven't
Colts
even
might
played.
be better. I know, but I watch the Colts and I'm like, they
Ain't
might be
nobody
better.
No, really, as a fan, if you want your side, you want all the glow on Indy, and they're getting plenty of it.
Absolutely. So, well, we'll get that. Let's take our break here. Top of the hour, come back. Uncle Lou's segment coming up, of course. UFC fights. And big surprise there in the main event last week there, Lou. Wow, what a big one. And then, of course, NFL talk with you as well. We'll get more in depth of this weekend. With all these comebacks, how do you even look at putting money down or talking to your friends around the water cooler about football? Well, maybe this guy has some answers, because I don't. Come on back. It's the main event. And we're back here. Main events. Thursdays means Uncle Lou shows up here. Of course, you can catch him. He does a lot of VSIN shows out there. Gamblu.com is where you can find him. At Gamblu on X as well, for those of you want to reach out to him during shows and things to that effect. Lou, how you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for letting me come in each week, Steve. It's not easy it's easier now for sports handicappers to get time. There was a time when you couldn't really even admit you were doing it. And I was doing it then. I'm doing it now. I hope to keep doing it. It sure is fun. It is challenging. I don't care if you're betting playoff baseball, NFL football, preseason hockey, if that's your thing. It isn't easy to win. And what I try and do is actually advise people on how to win.
Yeah, and hockey underway, just got underway
Yes.
the other day, and all those fights in the preseason, maybe these guys got it out of their system with all the recklessness in the preseason happening there. So it'll be interesting to see on this season. It just, hockey's in a bad spot, man. It just drops the puck to start its season, and nobody cares, man, because it's right in the middle of baseball playoffs, NFL as well, and, of course, you do the playoffs coming up next year. For everybody out there to know. So tell everybody where they can find you on your website and everything you support.
So my single point of focus is winning at select sporting events. Those sporting events are displayed and who I am and what I do at the webpage that I am able to use, Gamblu.com. And that page, there's a band along the top. You'll see the tabs you can hit and find everything out about not only me, what I do, the sports I work, but on the far right, we're totally pro-Arizona, and the oldest mission in the whole country is in just south of Tucson, Arizona, called the San Xavier mission. And it's dear to any Arizonan's heart. We support it fully. And each week coming on, Steve allows me to draw attention to it because we divert profits from Gamblu.com to the mission and invite others to also. You can see the tab clicking down there. Kobe's got it flashing. You can go check out the mission all on your own should you choose to decide. We're lucky enough to be able to drive down there and go. Steve, thanks for allowing me to draw that attention to them.
You guys going down to the Arizona BYU game this weekend. Take your boat, first of all, with the amount of rain they're supposed to get. But, two, stop by there. It's just outside of town. And see what Lou supports there and everything. And absolutely. And like I said, it's I think that's an important thing that you're doing there on top of trying to, win at some gambling side. Because it's all great about winning money, but there's some real life stuff we like to deal with.
We all know what's really important. And let's face it, I could have been born 2,000 years ago pushing rocks up a pyramid. No, I get to be a sports handicapper in an air-conditioned room with Steve, so I'm counting my blessings.
Yeah, by the way, AC's fixing it. It says it's 75 right now, but we got
it's so temperate here. It's great. Right. We got a huge we're up 7 floors. We're looking down on the 5th largest city in America.
I'm looking forward to right downtown. It's gorgeous.
Awesome.
We walk down the hallway. We get a nice view of Chase Field over there.
It's awesome.
And everything. So I'm looking forward to seeing the rain come in and seeing how it looks as well. And if you watch McCollum on Business, you'll actually see our backdrop. I open up these blinds.
Oh, really? Neat.
It's behind me and stuff like that. So new desk is on its way still. So temporary here, but we'll be moving some stuff around. But it'll be fun when it's all done out there. But I want you to give your intro, of course. This weekend's UFCs are at Rio, so early morning start here coming up. Of that, we'll talk about that here on our way. But I got a couple of questions about last week fighting. And
yes,
Lou, I did it. I jokingly, I was going to text you, and I was like, I don't want to text him and bother him because I jokingly put out on Twitter, hey, Lou, look where I am. I was at a UFC party. I actually got out of bed, put some pants on.
I saw that tweet. I think I responded.
No, you did. Yeah, you did. And, I was just kind of having fun with it and everything.
Good.
And, so I saw it with other UFC fans. And
you're saying, hey, here's who Uncle Lou says, and my guys get iced.
It started with, this is what I would go with, guys. This is what I would do. And then it went, I have a guy that says to go with this after it didn't go well at the beginning.
I didn't hit one. I offered.
I'll say this, man. That's the first one, in terms of, not you wanted to watch that fight against Daniel Santos. You said you was on your watch list, at least last Thursday.
I went down with you.
So what are your thoughts on you? Second round KO there, 21 seconds into Santos.
He was willing in game. He just got anxious and walked into one. I think what he needed to do is take that fight into the third round because it was Santos that asked for the catch weight. He was having a hard time making the weight, so you try and tire him out. You got impatient and knocked out for his troubles.
Yeah.
Turn the page. The Ankalaev, I was as wrong as I could be there.
Well, before we get to that, I just want to ask you really quick. Patchy Mix, his second fight here. Split decision this time. He made it to a decision, didn't get his face pummeled in. From that, I'm just curious on Patchy Mix, what you think of him after his second UFC fight, after a disastrous first one.
When a minor leaguer goes to the major leagues, there's a huge period of adjustment. And Patchy's going from minors to majors, and he was a good a great minor leaguer, but he ain't that good a major leaguer.
Wakalax, I think is how you say it. Didn't look like he was that great. Obviously, underdog won this fight against Patchy Mix. It's second fight now where he's been beat. He's supposed to win it, and he's, at least in terms of
Mario
odds.
beat his brakes in, and this young kid from Poland, a debuter, hey, he's fighting for his family too. I don't care where he is or where he's from. Patchy had the name and was flapping again, and the kid just earned the W. We'll see what happens next time. Nothing but respect to the young Polish fighter.
Yeah, just curious on those two pre-game fights there, but
we need to spend time on Ankalaev because I got to come to grips on the loss.
Yeah, we're getting to that. Trust me. But you were big on Pfeiffer last week as well. There as a favorite there against Abus Magomedov there. He was the favorite. He gets the submission in round 2. 146 and that. Just your thoughts on that. I think Pfeiffer, I don't want to say struggled in the first round, but but he definitely came out in that second round a little bit ready to go.
Yeah, he thought he had a bad first round, and listen, Magomedov's a world class opponent, but Pfeiffer was the better man, and to sub him means something. The issue was he's a big favorite, and I didn't use him in any way, at least with clients. I don't know what I shared here last week, but I didn't use him, and looking back on it, if I could go back and bet the cards after the results, I'd be 95% on my picks.
Wait, you would still miss some? Zalal Emmett being from Phoenix, Arizona. He doesn't still train here, does he? But I know he's from here, but he doesn't train here still, does he? Emmett
trains at Alpha Male in California.
Okay, so he did, because they kept advertising Phoenix, and they kept talking about, and I was like, I'm pretty sure he doesn't train here anymore. I mean, he's a tough guy. We thought maybe this would be a long fight, maybe to a decision. A lot of people thought that. Zalal just went in there and just minute 38 submitted him pretty
Nobody
quickly.
does that to Emmett.
He had never been submitted
didn't
before.
Do that to Emmett. That was amazing.
And Emmett's older, right? It's like 38, 39?
40.
Yeah,
and fortunately, that's one I didn't bet with. I didn't release, but that's one via sub that I had at. I think that was 4-5-1.
Really? Yeah, I mean, nobody does. I mean, they were even saying that on the broadcast. They were like, nobody does this to Emmett. Nobody does it to him.
Immediately.
Yeah, it was quick. And then you got, our buddy Yuri and Roundtree Jr. I like Roundtree Jr. as a fighter. I've always liked him about it, but I've seen 2 fights now where he dominates the first couple rounds, and then that third round, he can't swing. He can't have any power. He's just gassed. And you saw it coming. You saw it switch so quickly. Yuri ends up getting the win in that third round, and just Roundtree was trying his best to do anything in there, but you could just tell he was done. How can Roundtree not be coming into these fights conditioned enough to survive?
Oh, he is. He's world class. The issue is he can beat anyone from number 4 to anyone else in the history of human fighting that has lived. Okay, he can't beat the Pereira, and he can't beat Yuri. Oh, both guys that are taller, longer. Yuri has poor defense, and Roundtree did strike him. But it isn't that Roundtree didn't come prepared. He gave everything he had.
I'm not saying that. Yeah.
He's facing guys that are better, and the issue is that you could see Yuri wasn't that marked up after the fight. He's better than Roundtree. We just saw it, and we've seen Pereira knock out Yuri twice, and that's what would happen again. Now this Pereira calling for John Jones, very intriguing. I don't know. I'm fascinated to see what Dana White does with that.
Then the other one that these were good main fights, and we talked about them last week. Corey Sandhagen there, right, ends up losing, of course, to Davishvili. Unanimous decision, but I think a lot of people, and I remember last week we were talking about this, that Davishvili was going to go in and do some damage there, and I thought Sandhagen handled his own in that fight. As to me, it looked like the smaller guy in the fight, but I thought he handled himself pretty well, even though he eventually lost with that unanimous decision. Did I see it wrong?
I see it just like you saw it.
Okay.
Sandhagen's good world-class fighter, but Balashvili's different.
A whole different level from that side, right?
From anyone
First of
else
all,
in the division.
I don't know how you get in an octagon, a ring, whatever. But if a guy is coming into the ring and he's doing nothing but smiling while you're hitting him, I don't know. Just walk out. Congratulations. I would have just thrown my hands up and be like, I'm out of here. I'm hitting him with everything I got. And he's just smiling at me.
He's a great fighter, but he is nutty.
I'm like, this guy is crazy.
He's nutty.
That's all I kept thinking during the fight was. Even that last round, I was like,
to get in a cage and have it locked behind you.
I know, and then it's another level when the round's about to start and you're sitting there all dancing and smiling.
Can't wait.
It's the
He
fifth,
loves
and you're
it.
like,
wants to turn around fighting in December already.
Then the big one, of course, Ankalaev and Pereira coming to this. I mean, I don't think anybody saw a minute 20 knockout here. When this fight started and Pereira went after him, I went, uh-oh, Ankalaev's in trouble. I didn't expect him to get knocked out or the fight cold.
Did you know
quickly.
that after 1 second or 10 seconds?
Literally, the second he went after him, and you saw, I almost
saw that he threw a straight right. He
and
threw
Ankalaev,
a 2 and he missed.
Yeah, and Ankalaev.
And you thought if that hits him, it's over.
It wasn't even that. The way Ankalaev reacted to that throw, I think he was surprised by it. I think he went, uh-oh, and he kind of like curtailed, and that's how he got on top of him and went down and stuff like that. It's just, Ankalaev, I think.
Fought with broken ribs and rib cartilage.
Is that what it was? Okay, because I was about to rip him and
those are the
say I felt
facts.
like he was walking in and he was like, "I got this."
He walked in a sitting duck,
Okay,
but
so
he
that's
walked
different.
in because he's a warrior, and that's that Dagestani pride. He ain't. And when Pereira says he was hiding in the back room from him at the PI,
Yeah.
he was. You know why? Because he was taking shots so he could try and train and didn't want the opponent to see what's going on.
Yeah, I didn't know that. It
No,
changed it. But,
there's a
yeah.
little light that
Yeah.
needs to be shed out around here. But that said, I don't care if Pereira, really, after what I saw, I don't care what kind of condition Pereira could have gone to that fight in positively. I don't think there was a chance in hell he was beating Pereira that night, or the Pereira that I saw, that you and I saw.
He was a different Pereira in this fight. He was. I mean, that bell rang and he was.
Look
it was like,
out, Charlie.
Yeah, it was. It's like a bullfighter,
That
right?
right missed. That he come out and he threw that too and missed, and I was like, oh, that was the end of the fight.
All right, so I saw it the same way, and like I said, I don't watch this like you do, so.
I got to
amazing
start
to see.
changing stuff up, or at least lying to Steve. Otherwise, he doesn't need me. And
Yeah, I'm
you
gonna
guys
start-
can just listen to him.
I'm going to
break
start
down these
handicapping
fights.
it all. I never would have come on and said, I was even saying it going into it. I was like, I just don't think Pereira has seeing the way he's fought the last couple of fights, I just don't think Pereira's going to do it. But I didn't know about the ribs and obviously that. But
Pereira or
just
Ankalaev?
Pereira. But the aggressiveness of Pereira, even if that fight would have gone longer, his aggressiveness at the beginning is what surprised me and stuck with me.
That's
in
how
that
he
fight.
wanted to go out and get in a fight.
Yeah, I just always sit there and I'm not a fighter, but you get all warmed up, you go through all the stuff, you get taped up, you do all that, and you go out there, and just 80 seconds later, you're going back to the locker room. It's like, you don't have all that stuff out of you yet,
First
if you
of
get
all,
what I mean. So
I'd go through every motion. The thing that in my contract that I would make is that it wouldn't be an octagon; it would be an acre of yard. Because then at least I could run.
run away. I know. I'll just
That's
never.
my best defense. And I have 2 new knees, so I can't run.
Just the way folks, go back and watch it if you get an opportunity. Just the way, going back to Davishvili, the way he was acting in that ring while getting hit at times and stuff. It was just, to me, was disturbing.
And then
Because
afterwards,
it's just, you shouldn't act that way. When you're
did
in a
you see
fight.
some of the film of them afterwards?
I
The
did.
2 of them. It's just great stuff.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's
Great
the other
stuff.
thing about this. You're in there, you're just beating the brains out of each other, everything. And then after the fight, even
They're hugging
Roundtree,
and kissing.
even Roundtree gets knocked down, can't defend himself. His arms are basically just water, in that 3rd round. And after the fight, he's over there hugging him and giving him high fives. And it's just like, wow. You got to give these guys a lot of credit for what they go
culture.
through and then what they do afterwards, and that type of stuff.
The mixed martial arts culture exceeds that of boxing in every single facet, form, and aspect, except for one thing. In boxing, the corner man will throw a towel in to save his kid and let him live to fight another day, which is correct. And in the culture of mixed martial arts, they can't do that. The corners will get fired from the fighter if they do that. That culture needs to change, because you don't need to be 26 and getting totally ripped up when you can fight till you're 36 if you're smart.
Save for
It's
the
the
next fight.
only wrinkle that boxing has, that ethic over mixed
you
martial
see
arts.
fighters get mad at refs that stop fights. We're like, no, they're literally laying there not defending themselves. A ref will step in. You'll see that guy hop up and yell at the ref, like, "What are you doing? Stop it!" It's like, you got to defend yourself.
Sometimes,
at least.
they go down like a tree. Sometimes the hitting of the floor is what wakes them up, but usually those refs got a tough job. They do it overall a pretty good job.
Zalil in that fight with Emmett, he finished that quickly. Then he went over and started talking to Dana White on the side there, right?
Yeah, he wants a big fight.
Is that what he was? Was that what he was
he wants
asking?
50 G's and a big fight.
Yeah, well, he did.
Yeah,
He did not get a bonus. I tell
That's too bad.
you. Pfeiffer performance of the night, Roundtree Yuri performance of the night as well, and
That's
then
what he wants to see.
Pereira
That's
as
where
well.
that's where you're going to get bonused when you do. If you saw the Dana White Contender Series fight the other night, 2 dudes stood there toe to toe, just rock 'em,
Is
sock
that the
'em,
one
roll
where he
'em.
gave them both the contract?
Yes.
So that
Yes,
was
'cause
recent.
That's what he wants. That's what they're after. This Gamrod Olivier we'll talk about in the main event this week he ain't crazy about those two guys rolling around on the floor all day.
I didn't see that Contender Series fight, but I saw Dana White talking, and I just giggle a little bit because he goes, we're sending both of these guys to the hospital, but we're signing them both,
Yep.
which we never do. And I'm giving them both, was it $25,000 or $50,000 bonuses on top of it.
25
That's what you
grand a
want. You want the
kid.
violence, not the wrestling side
That's
of it.
right.
You know?
But those kids, they earned it, and that's a lot of money to them.
So this week, coming up, you have from Brazil, 4 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, our time here. Main card coming up from Brazil this weekend. Brazil fights, generally, I don't think there has been a bad Brazil fight. And what I mean by that is they treat these kind of like numbered fights where you get usually good matchups here in these fights. They're not treated like some of these other ones we get on these fight nights where it's a bunch of people you don't know going into it. So it's going to be a fun fight this weekend, huh, Lou?
Yeah, it'll be a great card. It's basically like Brazil a Brazilian in each fight against someone from another part of the world. So
Brazil versus the world is how you phrased it on your blog.
So
there on your
I mean
website.
that's what we see, and so we look at each fight. There's only 4 big boy fights, so there's 3 heavyweight fights and a 170. But those will be fun fights to watch. A couple gal fights, okay, but mostly you've got some form of very high level Brazilian jiu-jitsu specialist, mixed martial artists, meaning they got Muay Thai striking and boxing and hopefully wrestling, and they're going to take on somebody from another part of the world, whether that be a striker, a wrestler, or whatever, a BJJ expert, and so there's a diverse amount of activity. I don't really concentrate on a lot of the undercard, but there's a handful of fights that we need to talk about, and excuse me for glazing over the lighter women fights that are usually lined at 2.5 over.
Yeah.
So,
And 2 decisions. But what about for the undercard? What about that heavyweight bout, Walter Walker and Muhammad Usman? I've seen Usman fight a few times now as a heavyweight. Anything in that fight? Brazil versus Nigeria here in terms of countries for this undercard fight. Anything there?
Well, that's one of the heavyweight fights, and Walker 27, Usman 36. Walker's 4 inches taller, 9 years younger. Even though Usman's going to have the short reach advantage. Usman's a wrestler from the University of Arizona, brother to Kamaru Usman, ex-champion of the welterweight division. But he's slow as a glacier. He can wrestle okay, but he doesn't have great gas, doesn't have any snap to his punches. He's not a great mixed martial artist, nowhere near what his brother is. Walter Walker is a one-trick pony. He heel hooks people. He's standing in front of you 1 minute, and the next time, the next minute, he's on your calf and knee, wrapping his legs around you, taking your heel, and making you tap out. He's done that 3 fights in a row immediately. I expect that's exactly what he's going to do to Usman here. Usman's there to be exactly what Usman is. Statuesque, slow, and there for Walter Walker.
Okay.
And so Walter Walker is a decent favorite. He should be. The total 2.5. If Walker's going to win, I think it's going to be under that 2.5.
Under 2.5 minus 154 right now.
Yeah,
for that.
that's what they think too.
Walker's a 310 favorite, and we use DraftKings here for UFC numbers, so everybody knows here on Thursday morning. So so under, and then obviously Walker getting that done from that side.
Yeah, I would say if you're betting Walker, bet him via sub. I suppose he could win a decision, but via sub would bring his price a lot better for you. So that's one undercard, and it's a heavyweight, so we should pay attention to it. There's another heavyweight, Tom Peterson against Victor Petrino. Petrino, the Brazilian, he KO'd his last opponent who was, there for him, and this guy is really designed to be there for him too. As we're aware, when they go to Scotland or Perth or Brazil or, Timbuktu, they try and get regional fighters of that area to perform well, maybe even hand them somewhat favorable opportunities by the matchup in order to inject enthusiasm, excitement, and more spread of their sport in that area. Brazil has always been a hotbed, and they've always done it that way in Brazil. And so Petrino gets a somewhat slow journeyman of a heavyweight fighter in Peterson. That'll be a fun fight to watch. But the action fights are 2, I hate to say it, excuse me, 225-pound flyweight fights, men, both of them. And the first one is Filho against Carpenter. This is going to be a great matchup because Filho's world-class Brazilian jiu-jitsu, okay striking, long and lean, but he only stands long enough to try and roll. Carpenter, a savant wrestler, fights out of the MMA lab here in Phoenix, Arizona. In his last fight, he took on a world-class Dagestani wrestler and was schooled to an extent as he was beat by a guy named Ulanbekov. Carpenter on the bounce now travels down to Brazil in a matchup that I think is a positive one for him, for I have been taught that a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world-class specialist has one kryptonite, and that's a world-class wrestler. That's what Clayton Carpenter is. Carpenter, I think, is going to be he's already a release for us, and I think he's in a good spot.
Minus 125 right now. Over under on this 2.5, minus 195. Flyweights, you generally don't, maybe a submission, but you generally don't see any power or anything. These guys are going to
roll.
Wrestle. That's what I mean.
They're
They're going
roll.
to be on the ground a lot. Yeah.
And Carpenter opened plus 145. Now he's the favorite. So, and that's in Brazil, of note. Usually the Brazilians are the ones that get bet and get higher. Then the other fight is the same weight class. You got an Aussie shipping in by the name of Nickel, and he's fighting this Brazilian Roca. And this is a recency fight. Roca looked great in his last fight. So did Nickel, but Nickel lost, but he looked great until he was losing. And I think he's coming in, and everybody saw that he got subbed and he was beat, but they're not looking to how he performed and who he got beat by. I think Nickel's live here, currently priced plus 100, and this should be
DraftKings. He's moved to minus 102 right now. So
interesting. So he's a little bit the favorite. He's coming in off a win over Jesus Aguilar.
Roca's minus 118.
Okay, so if Roca's minus 118, then my guy Nickel is minus 102.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he's better than minus 120.
Yes.
So listen, the bottom line is Nickel, the Aussie ship-in, is live in the fight. And those are the two I wanted to draw your attention to.
Now, on this flyweight, the over-under is 2.5, minus 175 for the under for these two guys.
Yeah. So they sense that one guy's going to dominate the other. I just think they have the wrong guy as the favorite.
Yeah, perfect from that side. So that's the preliminary fights here coming up this weekend. So a little bit earlier than normal, 4 p.m. our time here for the main card. That means the undercards are about 1 o'clock, I believe, if I do my math right. 2 o'clock. 1:15, I should say.
Yeah, so we go 1:15 and 4.
Yep.
That's great because Saturday most people are watching college football anyway.
Absolutely.
Baseball trumps everything for me
Well,
this
there might not be baseball if all the series get wrapped up today and tomorrow. So, Saturday will be an off day. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Because
That's okay. Give me baseball during the week when nothing else is on.
I guess. What's today? Thursday. So if the NL series wrap up today, I guess they could maybe play Saturday. But I haven't looked at the schedule at all. But yeah. So
well, what game? Which one? I think they all could go to 5. But
I think the NL's games are 2-1 right now for today, and that's the thing. If they go to 5, you're right. You're right on that. I just don't think they're going to continue. Interesting. You said that, Lou. I think Phillies Dodgers might be done today, and the Brewers Cubs too. But so for the main card today. You have Lucas Almeida, Michael Aswell Jr. is the first one coming up, featherweight bout. And then you got another featherweight right after that, Ramos and Alfley. For these guys fighting, anything to watch on these two fights?
Yeah, Aswell's high octane, high power slugger. Almeida, 2 and 3 in the UFC, desperate. No real thought there. It'll be an action fight you want to watch. How's that?
So watch that one. It's just you don't know how it's going to come out. Okay.
Alfley and Ramos. Same thing. That's a featherweight fight. Ramos, this is second fight at 145. I think it'll serve him well here.
Is he coming down or going up?
He's going up.
Okay.
So that'll be he's gone. He went up the last fight. So this will be his sophomore fight at 45. He's got 6 inches of reach. He's younger. He's taller. The Aussie's tough and determined 0-2 in the UFC. So he's going to be desperate. Again, that'll be a great fight to watch. 2 desperate fighters fighting for their UFC lives.
And then we go from those two featherweight fights to a heavyweight bout there. Denise and Mario Pinto here fighting each other. Brazil, Portugal.
Yeah. Pinto, a KO guy. Deniz won his last fight. I don't really know enough about Pinto here to be able to assess how he can do against Deniz. So this is a due diligence fight. I got to watch Pinto. Deniz is nothing special, but he's Brazilian. So if this thing turns into a slow dance at the high school prom, you might want to want him because of the judges and the crowd.
Yeah, for any decision, right? Over under, by the way, over 1.5 minus 250. So yeah, that tells you that might be a decision coming your way.
Pardon me.
Quickly on that. Then you got Luque and Alvarez coming up in a welterweight bout here in this next one.
Alvarez is a lightweight cheater, meaning he is too big for 155, and he kept missing weight and knocking out all these guys. So now that UFC's had enough of him, and they said, you're fighting at 170. This is his first fight at 170. The issue is not only is he big and long and tall for 155, he's still big and tall and long for 170, and he's powerful. The way to attack him is to put him on the ground and figure out a way to get on top and make him quit. Luque can do that. Luque is the legit 170-pounder. Luque has tremendous experience. He's been in against the absolute elite of the division, except for Luque now at 33. Most people think he's 37 because that's how much damage and time he's accrued in the UFC over 11, 12 years. I'm interested in this fight. The only way to bet it would be to take Luque. Another indirect way to bet it would be to take the over because I think Luque's more durable, and that 170, he's a natural 170er. And even though Alvarez is going to be bigger and taller and longer, I think it'll take him time to adjust to the weight. So I would lean to the over on this fight, knowing that Alvarez is a dangerous man and Luque's at the end of his UFC career. So I'm just not very confident on the underdog side.
Yeah, over under 1.5 minus 140 to the under in this fight. So Vegas kind of tells you.
So you get
there.
plus money if you're taking over.
Plus, plus 110.
Yeah. So now you look at does the fight to start round 2, and now you pay maybe 125 or 130. That might be a way to go too.
Yeah, fight to start. Yeah, fight to start round 2. You save that
2.5 minutes,
minutes if you do that.
I do that all the time.
Yeah. You got Figueroa, which I've seen both these Jackson against Montel Jackson here coming up. Brazil versus United States bantamweight bouts. The next one up here with these two fighters.
Yeah, U.S. guy, tall, long, young, fast, powerful, has it all. Ascending fighter. However, he's taken a huge step up. Figueiredo, former champion at 125, is now segued to 135, and he's simply fought killers at 135. And yeah, he's gotten beat by a couple world-class guys at the top of the division, but that's no shame on him. He beat the brakes off Marlon Chito Vera maybe 3 fights ago. So Figueiredo at home, huge dog. We're going to get his best effort, and they're shipping Montel down there. And most fighters that ship into Brazil want to do it. They have heard from other fighters how special it is to be jeered at and told they're going to rip your heart out and feed it to their dog and stuff like that. It's a passionate crowd, so they want to go down there. But I almost wonder, with Figueiredo having so much experience and fighting in front of home, how that may affect Montel Jordan. And so Jackson, I've won a lot of money on Montel Jackson, but this one could be some kind of Figueiredo play. I haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah, right now he's plus 260. Over under 2.5 minus 195 to Figueiredo.
Over,
so
right
to the over. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
For Figueiredo there. So it's that's an. I've been reading a lot about that one, not just with your stuff, but around UFC side. They seem to be focusing on that fight a lot here going into this weekend between these two guys.
It's going to be a big telling fight in that weight division.
And then you've got, and I think that's what it is, right? These guys are, the winner here is being set up to,
compete in the top 7.
Get
that's
up to
a
that
tough
top
league.
level,
That's
right?
Dvalishvili's.
Yeah.
And so they need fresh blood. He's clean through, he's sawed through everybody up there.
So I think that's why that's why I think I'm reading so much focus on that. And then you got the main event, Oliveira and Gamrot fighting it off. Seen both of these guys before. I was impressed with both of them last time. So what are we looking at here with this main event?
A killer fight. Oliveira was originally scheduled to fight a long, tall, stand-up striker who had to bow out of the fight, and now on short notice in comes this Polish wrecking ball who's a vice grip wrestler. And so the stylistic change on short notice is huge for Charles. And we talked about it with Carpenter. World-class wrestling is kryptonite to world-class BJJ, and that's what Charles has. On the ground, I believe that Gamrot is superior to Charles Oliveira's BJJ, and we're going to find that out if Gamrot has any chance, because he'll take it down. Now he's going to have to deal with striking in order to do it, and that's where everyone believes that Oliveira is miles ahead, technically, power-wise, precision-wise. And while I may give the edge in stand-up to Oliveira, let's not forget, he was just KO'd 3 months ago in a previous fight. And Gamrot's not a striker, but he trains at Florida's AT&T, and since he got his fence painted 2 years ago by striker Dan Hooker, he's been working on his striking. And so he's going to come in more prepared to be able to deal with Oliveira's striking, and I this is a fight I like Gamrot in.
How has the number moved to Gamrot? Was he a favorite to begin, or did it move toward him? Because he's minus 118 right now. Oliveira is minus 102 at this moment.
Yeah, Gamrot opened minus 145. So we've seen money come to Oliveira, and I get that. You're getting him at a dog price in Brazil. Wait till Saturday comes. I think you'll see that fight might flip, and you'll see Charles Oliveira money. You might even be able to get Gamrot at the plus,
at a plus
102.
Going into that fight.
You might.
That fight will go off around 6:45 p.m. on Saturday, so you can watch it before the ASU game, folks. If you like to. Over under here 3.5.
Is the ASU game here?
No, it's at Utah.
Good, because it's going to be rainy and sloppy here.
It's going to be rainy and sloppy there too.
Oh.
So over under 3.5 to the under minus 130 here for this main event coming in on this side. So
3.5 basically says they don't know.
Yeah,
and that's good because I don't either.
But minus 130 on the under tells you they're pretty, at least bettors or somebody's pretty confident that this is ending early with somebody, right?
That would lean towards Oliveira, perhaps. I don't know. We'll see.
Exactly. So that's coming up Saturday, of course, from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Brazil.
I giggle myself all the time doing my Vin Diesel impression.
Brazil.
So when we come back, we'll get into the NFL with Uncle Lou as well. At this point in the season, I'm just like, I don't know who's winning anymore. Just see what Lou has to say with any guidance that we have this weekend. So come on back, folks. The main event with Uncle Lou. And we're back here. Main event Thursdays with Uncle Lou. Of course, catch him on many of his VSIN appearances that he makes. Of course, Gamblu.com as well. His blog is up there. It's a good read, whether it be NFL, of course, UFC. I know it's a little late for the Sneak Teep podcast. Some of those lines have moved and things, but it kind of can still listen to it and get kind of his thoughts that he saw earlier in the week and kind of compare it to what you see now out there. And those things. And, of course, those of you that do invest with him, the About Business now in Brazil. When's the weigh-ins?
Oh, that's a great question. So those weigh-ins are probably going to be tonight at anywhere between 9:30 Pacific time to 1 a.m. Pacific time. You've caught me unaware, but I know
Sorry.
I always like it when it's away. However, because it allows me, whether it's in Europe or in Brazil, I'm able to do the weigh-ins one night, and then the next day, Friday, I can wake up and concentrate all on the podcast.
Get your thoughts thoughts in order and everything. You're not watching it
I
and then
make my
coming to
notes
thing.
during the weigh-ins. After the weigh-ins, I pretty much know what's going to go on. But the good news is I can sleep on it, and if any last-minute news, somebody gets sick or something, I get it before I make the release.
Yeah, absolutely. So look for that coming up, and of course, you do NFL talk as well. And look, after these last couple of weeks, we had 4 games last week with big comebacks late in the game where teams were down 14-plus points. Comebacks from that side. We have quarterbacks being traded. We got quarterbacks injured galore. We got quarterbacks coming back. We got quarterbacks going down. I just throw my hands
who cares?
up now.
We don't need quarterbacks. They're not an important position. I heard that earlier somewhere.
I should have known that was going to be thrown back into my face.
I couldn't wait.
From that perspective there. But, I mean, that's just the big question today. I mean, we talked, if you missed it, before the 9 o'clock hour. Luke came on a little early. We were just talking the Cincinnati Bengals. The line has not moved with Joe Flacco, obviously, starting for them this weekend in that news. We kind of briefly talked about that before the top of the hour.
A lot of money on Cincy, though. I will say that, Steve.
Since the trade, or was that going into it as well? Since the trade, I imagine, right?
I think before and after. When you show NFL handicappers double digits,
Really?
they usually
Double?
just take it.
Really?
Well, 14 and a half.
Yeah, it's what it is. I know, isn't that crazy? Against the Packers, and Packers coming off a bye week,
That's right.
and they, I mean they're looking ahead to the Cardinals next week, right? The Packers.
Well, I suppose that's one position.
I try to say it with a straight face, everybody. I try to.
I'd be worried how much rust they got.
Tonight you got Eagles, Giants. Eagles coming off one of those teams that had a comeback against them last week. I know it's Thursday Night Football. They're going to New York. That's just a simple little Amtrak ride or train ride up to New York. It's not travel on this one isn't as worrisome on a Thursday. I worry about 2 things in this game: Eagles psyche, because there's a lot of talk, and we've talked about this with the Eagles a lot, Lou. There's a lot of talk of unhappiness in that locker room. A.J. Brown's not happy. He's not getting the ball thrown to him. Other receivers in that boat as well. Saquon Barkley's returned to New York here, obviously, tonight, plays into this. I'm worried about the Eagles' psyche going into this game. Now they're playing the Giants. I like what Jackson Dart's doing, but they're without a couple receivers. Any thoughts tonight on this game, Lou?
As you guys know, after all these years, I sidestep Thursday games like a dog. I watch, I'll look. They put division games on for familiarity, so it's easier to prepare, even though you got no time to prepare, especially for the road team. But the one thing I would say is that an old-time handicapper like me looks at this game, and I see 40.5 for the total. I get excited. Then I see a 7-point line. Wow, that when you don't have to do a lot of math to realize 7 means a lot more in a 40-point over/under than it does at 50. And so the Giants plus 7 points is 105 at the Circa right now. And so that means the Eagles could get pushed back to 7.5, which is where it opened a week ago.
I can tell you FanDuel, because we use FanDuel for NFL here. It is already at 7.5.
Yes, because they're betting the Eagles.
And it's minus 115 on the Giants at plus 7.5.
Yeah, this is a Giants plus 7.5 position or pass. For me.
Not at a minus 115
I'm more interested
number,
in
though,
it
right?
talking about it now than I was walking in to the studio.
Because of the numbers and
yes. You're going to give me 7.5 with the Giants. That's hard to overlook.
Yeah, so going into Thursday night's game, and I despise Thursday night football. I just try to find anything to watch it and have some interest in it, to be honest with you, across the board. So last couple of Thursday night football games have been close affairs. That's the other side of it. You got to I factor in
40 and
as
a half.
well. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Cardinals were what, 43.5? They were at 43. Last week went to overtime, right? It ended up going into overtime. So 7.5 numbers, pretty large for a Thursday night game, in my opinion, going into this, coming into this game. Jets, now, overseas game again, 6:30 a.m. Broncos Jets this weekend. Jets minus 0-5. Now, I always try to find you're a dog better and things like that. I try to look and see where if there is a play on the Jets, as they've had a terrible start to the season, et cetera, et cetera. Overseas, Broncos aren't spectacular, 3-2. Is there a line on the Jets here with going overseas, having that stuff, some changes there for them, all of that? Is there a play on the Jets here this weekend at all, Lou, or just no?
I said last week on this show, Denver has got a great chance of representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. I'll say it again. Who'd they beat last week? Oh, they went to Philly and won in Philly.
Came back and won.
Don't underestimate that. This is a puppy wumping.
7-point favorites, the Broncos are going into this. Yeah.
This game smells like 24-6.
Okay, and I don't disagree with it. I would not look at the Jets at any point on this line, even the under.
I think
over
Denver's
43
very, very real. I think Denver, Kansas City, and the Chargers. I think all three of those teams are extremely real.
Really?
Yes.
Even the Chiefs today, even though you're watching them play and you still think so.
Yeah, I think that Jacksonville and Indy are pretty real too.
Well, I agree with those two now. Absolutely. I'm expecting it. So, I mean, speaking of which, let's just talk about that, right? Cardinals go to the Colts this weekend the way the Cardinals lost last week. Like you said, you pay attention to the noise. Everybody's reporting. They're all getting together this week. They've all forgiven their coach. They've talked about it. There's a familiarity with the Arizona coaching staff and the Colts coaching staff. They used to coach together back in the day. But Daniel Jones, the way this offense is going on the Colts, Cardinals defense is going to be key in this game. Lots of pressure on the Cardinals offense with their continued sputtering here. Colts are surprising everybody. I don't know. Are the Colts? They can't be surprising people still. People are betting them early on, and the lines are coming in more toward the Colts now, right? The underdog Colts and the surprise for them has got to be off on the lines at least, right?
Well, I don't know really what you're asking, but people are high on the Colts. So
people are betting them early is what I'm getting at, whereas early in the season they probably weren't.
This game was 3.5 a week ago.
7 now.
And so now it's 7. So they're just vomiting. And so here's the question. This is the water cooler game. Which one of you, especially watching in Phoenix right now, has enough huevos to bet the Cardinals? Because if you're in my business, that's the bet. That's what I'll do. And can you do it? Don't need an answer. You have to answer that for yourself. But if you're going to be long-term in this business, that's how you have to play.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no advantage to doing anything on the Colts here now. By the way, Cardinals +7, -105 going into this game.
Yeah, that means be patient. You might get 7.5.
You think it'll move that? Yeah, because Colts are -115 right now, -7. So
patience.
You might see that to move there. Now, is 7 a good line to play? Because obviously you can get the tie there that brings it into it. Or do you prefer a 7.5 or 6.5?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. If the line's 7.5 and I'm given, I want the 7.
Yeah.
Yes. So I try and keep on the correct side. And knowing a push isn't a loss, I'll use the flat number to my advantage if there's such a thing.
Just allow the plus number to be in there.
Unusual for me. I don't think you'd ever see me in the I could check all my results, but I don't know that I've ever, even in any kind of game, given 7.5 points to anybody. I'll tease that down. I'll do something with it. But
yeah. Okay, that's why I was asking that question, because to me, 7.5 is like, why? But I always forget about the teaser side of things.
Well, and right now, favorites over 5 points in the NFL are pretty on fire right now this year. So we'll see. Usually that changes and reverts.
Yeah, that is an amazing stat that you see out there. So from that perspective, Rams-Ravens this weekend. Rams 3-2 on the year. Ravens, Lamar Jackson probably going to be out again. Tempe, the thing that shocked me the most about the Ravens last week, and I'm curious on the look-ahead line here on the Ravens, their offense was non-existent without Lamar Jackson last week. It was, even Derrick Henry couldn't get running the ball last week. It's like it was shut down, completely different offense there against the Rams. I'm assuming the Rams, if I was betting this, the Rams are going to win this game here. But how has the line changed in this game with the Ravens and the way they looked last week without Lamar Jackson?
Well, a week ago it was 4.5 Rams. Now it's 7.5 Rams. So everybody's bailing on Baltimore, and I can get it. The Rams are coming in off 10 days. So they're coming off a Thursday night game, 10 days, and then they go to London after the game. So they're going from L.A., Baltimore. After they play in Baltimore, they're keeping on going out there. As far as Baltimore, they got a bye next week. So what's their mental condition going into the bye? I don't know. This is not a game close to my radar because the way I look, I'd be having to tell you got to take Baltimore in this game. Yeah. And I don't know that I'm ready to do that. I think one stinker is enough. Now, are you going to skip over Cleveland and Pitt?
No, we're going to go to that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just going down through the scheduled games as they go on that. Before we get to that one, the other interesting one in the morning games here, Seahawks at Jaguars in this game. I am super high on the Jaguars. I think the Seahawks are going to, I have said it at the beginning of the season, Seahawks are going to surprise people here in the NFC West. I actually picked them to win this division, or at least be up there. I had the Cardinals up there as well. But but I also counted on injuries on the other teams. This to me is a fascinating game coming out here. Seattle was getting a lot of love on the betting lines early in the season. Now after that win for the Jaguars there on Monday night, how has this changed, and are people jumping on the Jaguars bandwagon?
Yeah, they are. It was the Jags were given. Well, actually, they're jumping on Seattle. The Jags were one in the look-ahead line, and Sunday night they came out one, and now they're a pick. So you're seeing some money come in on the Seattle side.
Yeah, -1.5 is the spread right now on FanDuel. Jaguars -102, Seahawks -120 on top of that.
Yeah, the Jags are off a Monday night football game, albeit at home, and then they go to London next week. That spells a little bit of a unusual spot for them. I don't really know what to do with the game, but I'll watch it.
Okay, perfect. And then we get to that Browns-Steelers game coming up here as well. And are you looking at this, Lou? Is that why you're bringing this up?
Well, I look at every game. It just so happens that this one is Pittsburgh comes in off of a bye, and Cleveland comes in off a London game where they didn't take a bye after being in London. And not only were they in London with a rookie quarterback, now they put him on a plane, bring him back, and they give him to Pittsburgh, a division situation like this, again, with the travel that goes with it. So as much as the Cleveland quarterback looks spunky in that game, this is a terrible, terrible spot for Cleveland. Current line is Pittsburgh. Again, and when I quote you lines from Circa here, that's where the big boys shop.
Yep.
His are going to be different because FanDuel's where
the public goes.
$20 better bet.
So give us a big. I'll tell you this: FanDuel is -5.5 here for the Steelers. -120 is the
and that's what I got, 5.5. And again, now here's a division game. Here, these teams been playing each other since before I was born. There's pure hatred there, and the total's 38.5. Yeah. So really, if you're betting the game, you got to take the Browns. Ugly as it is, I won't because of the situation. But it'd be hard for me to lay the 5.5, even though I think this is a great spot for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting. See, I would like to see the rookie quarterback, and don't forget he's lost kind of his veteran presence as well in that quarterback room with Joe Flacco leaving. That kind of ticks me down a little bit as well, because having a veteran backup helps a young kid. Having Shedeur Sanders as your backup doesn't necessarily help you.
That Cleveland coach pretty good with quarterbacks.
I don't disagree.
He'll probably have to step in there.
Especially, like you said, coming back from London and his first start and that stuff. And then that Steelers defense coming up from that side. Chargers-Dolphins, I know obviously we're both high on the Chargers this year. It's only a 4.5-point spread here against the Dolphins, obviously for the Chargers side of things here coming into it. From that side, you like obviously, you'd have to go Dolphins on this line if you're going to bet anything. +4.5. Avoid this game at all costs.
Yeah, it's not one on my radar. I mean, the travel spot for the Chargers is a little iffy. Who knows what to make of Miami? That number's what now?
4.5.
Yeah, and that's where it was a week ago.
It's 4.5 -120 on the Dolphins plus number there.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, again, the good news is they have to put lines on every game. I don't have to bet every one.
I just figured I'd ask since it was in front of me, but
I got nothing on
Patriots had a big game last week. Ends up coming back and winning that game as well. against the Bills. They have the Saints this week, which the Saints aren't very good. I'm more curious on after that Monday nighter here if this line has changed and people dumping money on the Patriots after they went out and beat the Bills whatever night, Sunday night or whenever they battled that out. It's 3.5 favorite for the Patriot right now.
Yeah, and that's where it's been, so it hasn't really moved that much. But the Patriots just had a huge emotional win. And when was it? Oh, it was Monday night, right?
It was Sunday or Monday night. I don't remember.
So they're off of Buffalo, and this is the second of 3 road teams
at
for
Buffalo
them.
too. Yeah,
It was at Buffalo. So on a short week, now they get New Orleans. Tough spot. 3.5 indicates New Orleans. New England is, I think, a better underdog than they are favorite.
okay.
New Orleans is going to be desperate to try and win that first game, and getting in 3.5 at home might be a good spot after New England.
They won one game. They're 1-4 right now.
Who'd New Orleans beat?
They beat
Carolina?
They came back and beat them. Was it Carolina? I don't remember.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
They had to come back to beat them, but it wasn't a good team.
I think the Jets
way.
are the last winless team. So
yes, the only one left. No undefeateds anymore, and no only one lost one still from that side of things. The Giants. Saints beat the Giants. That's
sheesh.
26-14.
Giants ought to run, go hide in a hole after that. But I think listen, New Orleans ain't quitting. They're playing hard, feisty football, and I just don't think you can believe everything you saw in 1 week. It isn't. The Patriots aren't as good as what we saw last week, but they're not as bad as what we saw 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I question things like Stephon Diggs having a really good game at Buffalo. Well, he was going back to a team that discarded him, so I expect him to have a good game type of thing. Does he continue that with Drake May and things to that effect is kind of what I look at.
Yeah, and fair. And I think between him and Booty and May, they got something there. We'll have to see. That's worth watching.
Well, will it continue? And they have a coach that's really good, so you got to factor that in as well. I really like Vrabel as their coach there. So as we go into that, Titans, Raiders. Now both these teams are 1-4, but what I'm curious on here are the Titans right now. They're 4.5-point dogs going into this game against the Raiders. Raiders have been sorely disappointing, but after that Titans comeback win, people dumping some money on them with some faith against this Raiders team that people are kind of jumping off of their bandwagon.
No, I'm not looking at betting how much money has come in on them. That's not going to be a game that draws much attention to me.
Not at all.
I can't see it, but I tell you what, I do like Vegas in the spot quite a bit.
Raiders here on that 4.5-point favorite, -110 right now. But obviously the another two, we got 3 big games here on Sunday afternoon. 49ers, Buccaneers, both 4-1. 49ers with all their injuries just continue to win. Buccaneers to me might be, if not they're not the number 1 team in the NFC, but they're up there in the top 2 or 3 with the way they've started their season. Right now, 49ers are 3-point dogs going into this game. I do think Buccaneers. I like the Buccaneers with that 3 number to win the game. But what do you think, Lou?
Yeah, I like San Fran here. I like that it was 1.5 a week ago. Tampa's getting love. Everybody thinks San Fran's broke down and no good. Meanwhile, they've had 10 days off to try and heal up a little bit. They're a good, solid team, one of the best coaches in the league, and Tampa's due for, maybe a loose stool.
Which they tend to do, to be honest with you, from that side. Bengals, Packers, we talked about earlier in the show before you came on here, but the big one, Sunday Night Football here. Lions at 4-1, Chiefs 2-3. Chiefs are in a position they haven't been in the last 8 years since Patrick Mahomes came into the league and started games at least here. I worry about the Chiefs' psyche overall, and then they got just a physical team in the Lions coming in. Chiefs right now, and this is what I'm interested in. Chiefs right now are actually 2.5-point favorites on FanDuel. Is that how did it open up?
At 1.5, and it's
Chiefs?
2, and so at the public joints it's 2.5. Okay, they're betting the Chiefs. They're going to bet the Chiefs, and I get that they are betting the Chiefs, but I'm going to sit back. The Chiefs are off a road Monday night football game. That's always a thing. Even though they're at home, it's a short week, and they're going to have to take on a big, huge, stout Detroit team. Detroit was on the road last week in Cincinnati. I love Detroit in the spot, especially at 2.5. Now you're going to use that little 7-point teaser somehow get them up to 9.5. I think Kansas City, though I think they're real, this spot right here doesn't look very good for them.
Yeah, I think this is a terrible setup game for Kansas City going into it, especially losing Monday night on the road. I think also kind of affects this as well. Anything on Bills Falcons? I mean, Falcons have a lot of people were high on them. They're 2-2 on the season. Bills just came off that loss to New England and that stuff. Going to Atlanta, I like the Bills in this one, at least overall to win the game here. Anything to bet on this side, or are you worried about the Bills at all going into this game?
Yeah, we talked in July and early August that after 4 or 5 games, my Bills bet under season total wins was going to be a loser. And right now, if you're looking at it, I'm 1-4. Okay, I should say the Bills are 4-1 with only one loss, but who'd have thought New England would have beat them? And so now I'm going to ask you now from week 6 here. Well, in week 16, we're going to talk about it again, and at that point in time, the Bills will have disintegrated, okay? And what we saw New England do to them last week is the first part of it, and what we see Atlanta going to do to them this week going to be the second part of it. And what Atlanta's going to do, what's that, Bijan Robinson?
Mm-hmm.
He's going to have 180 yards. This guy going to run right down the Bills' throat, and Atlanta's going to control the ball. They have the number 1 ranked defense in the league. They'll be able to stand up to Buffalo, and we're going to start to see cracks in Buffalo starting this week, and we'll be talking about it for the next 10 weeks.
All right, perfect. It's starting this week coming up, and then your Bears, Lou. Right, you grew up in that Chicago area and everything. Coming off the bye, coming off of high of a win where they looked good in that bye against the Commanders, who got their quarterback back last week and trying to reclaim some of their mojo. Bears generally move lines when they're playing well after a win and stuff to that. 4.5-point favorites here for the Commanders here. Just curious what the public's thinking about, or the lines are moving with the Bears on Monday Night Football against the Commanders.
Yeah, they're not moving much.
It's Monday night, so people are going to wait to bet it, obviously.
Chicago's on the road. They're off a bye. You got to think we'll get the best effort from them that they can put forward.
Remember, this is the game where that one guy, the Hail Mary, where the defensive back was yelling at the crowd, and then the Commanders caught it. So that was that game last year. So this is that game again this year.
Does that mean that Chicago's going to come in with their ears pinned back?
No, everybody's talking about it. So
here's what
I think they'll be more focused.
The
right?
23rd ranked offense, Chicago. 32nd ranked run offense. That's no will, no commitment. And, what about this big offensive line they brought in? And then on defense, they're no better. Their 23rd ranked defense, 28th against the rush. No toughness. Listen, I think this coach could work for the Bears, and he'll let us know if the quarterback can work, because if the quarterback's there next year, that means he can work. But the Bears are a long, long fix, and it was never happening this year. I don't know how Washington doesn't boat race this squad.
I love how you just bring it back to stats and just shut everybody down with stats.
Well,
it makes me.
I
love it.
I use my DVOA.
Yeah.
8th ranked Washington offense against the 23rd ranked Chicago defense. 23rd ranked Chicago offense against the 10th ranked Washington defense. Washington's at home. Monday Night Football. They're a contender. Even though Chicago's had the bye, what can they wrinkle in a week?
Yeah, well, absolutely. It's just the Bears when the Bears win, it's like people just jump on them and like, oh my God, they're going to the Super Bowl now.
I'm no bigger Bear fan than me. We know my history with them and all that. I'm just tempered because the ownership group is tarnished.
You're looking at the DVO. You might not have them ranked, so if you don't, then we could talk about it later. But who is the best defense out there right now in terms of the DVOA, in terms of the NFL? Because no defense is just dominated from the start here this year. They've all had letdown games and let people come back and win and stuff to that effect. If you don't have it readily, I was just curious more than anything. It's just these all these comebacks and surprises are just rattling everybody's brains out there, So
Indy's got the 2 ranked. Oh no, that's offense. Defense.
That's the problem with the Cardinals this weekend. They're going up against the second-rate offense. I know.
Green Bay's got the 3. Atlanta's the number 1 ranked DVOA defense.
Really?
12th against the run. First
Never would have
against the
guessed
pass.
that. Never would have guessed.
Me neither. That's why I track it.
Wow. That's why we ask those questions here. We get those types of nuggets. Maybe we're sleeping on the Falcons here. Is the Falcons' problem?
I think we are this. I think you are this week.
The Falcons' problem at the beginning of the year has been their offense, not their defense, and that's why they got 2 losses. Is their offense has been disappointing for a couple games.
Well, that quarterback's got to get comfortable and find his
They
way.
got rid of their wide receiver coach. I don't know if that makes that big of a difference, but they have looked better since they've done that. So, Lou, we appreciate you coming in as always on Thursday. He'll be back next Thursday as well to talk this exciting fight down there in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, and of course. Let's see what happens this weekend on the NFL side, Lou. Everybody, come on back tomorrow, 8 o'clock as well. And then don't forget, McCollum on Business at 11. Pit Stop Look Ahead show will be up later on today as well. So come and join me there. Of course, on the free YouTube page as well. And we'll see you all tomorrow, everybody.